Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raising Vibrations. And hello, my Scorpio friends. And today we're going to be doing the sun sign forecast for July 2016. And I'm really hoping that you enjoy this new direction that I'm working with Raising Vibrations, a new way to actually teach evolutionary astrology as well. So let's get into your chart. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at over here is, of course, this whole experience is for the solar cycle that's happening for Cancer, and in particular for the Scorpio archetype, it's evolving through the ninth house of self-exploration. Okay, and of course, this is the cycle of the sun, as you can see over there. And the ninth house in the astrological chart, from an EA perspective, is all about what is the philosophy that we use to discover our sense of purpose? What is the direction that we allow ourselves to navigate our way through the world, and what type of cosmological overstructure do we use to get that reality presented to us? So what philosophy do you use? What education do you use? How do you perceive the world? What is your direct experience of things? So naturally, when the sun moves to the ninth house of the astrological chart, you're looking at the process of a new discovery regarding your beliefs, a new study, regarding what you understand about your philosophy in life. Okay. And it's not necessarily new in that sense. It's more along the lines of just getting in touch with what philosophy do you use, and can there be, or is there a possible upgrade that will be taking place for you? Okay. And Venus is transiting very closely to the sun. So this is a big deal for us as a collective, but for you and for me, who is also the sun in Scorpio, this will be about really getting in touch with that philosophy and that truth. What is our truth? What is our vision? How do we represent that in the world? And it's a masculine form. So this is a great time to travel. This is a great time to explore new ideas about things, and really, really open up your consciousness to new ways of working. Okay. And this will take place for, like I said, about a month, with the sun moving through Scorpio. So if we have a look at Pluto at the moment, Pluto is transiting the third house of the astrological chart over there, third, 1, 2, 3. And so on a deep and unconscious level, the nature of our evolution as a actual constellation is very much about the nature of language, and very much about the nature of what type of language do we use to intellectually connect with people. And of course, this is a big deal, because if the sun's in the ninth house of the astrological chart, learning about the higher definitions in life and what is the bigger picture, etc., then the way that we communicate that deeper, more intuitive, subtle energy is coming through what language we use. So Pluto is really, really transforming that sense of communication and that sense of new direction that will emerge as we develop a new language, a new way of talking to ourselves, a new way of talking to other people. And of course, Pluto in itself being such an archetype that evolves in a very slow manner, this will only take place for you in its fullest capacity by the year 2024. But there's been quite a lot of change that's manifested for us individually up until this point in time. So it's not like it hasn't happened for us already. Okay. So Neptune is in the fifth house of the astrological chart. And this is a great thing, because when Neptune transits fifth house energy, there's usually this sense of connecting with your inner child and really, really having this like dose of cosmic inspiration flow upon what is creative for you. And so this is a highly potent time for us to develop our sense of direction regarding what is your special destiny. And at some point, each of you probably has felt this, and there's a need for really connecting in with a deeper way regarding what is that special destiny about, and really listening to the subtle, more inspirations and excitements and joys that come out of it, and following that path, even if it doesn't seem to you as if it makes logical sense. It's only because Neptune is actually in a transpersonal state, which means it's past Saturn, and that meaning that's the nature of our reality is non-linear anymore. Okay. Speaking of nonlinearity, Uranus is actually situated in the sixth house of the astrological chart for us, and This is a big deal because it's moving and shaking up all of the ways in which your routines have been working. Your health has probably changed quite dramatically during this period of time. And there's also a necessity for already getting in touch with how do I follow my routines? What is essentially creating sacred space for me? And how am I becoming more competent in my life through taking up new adventures that bring me to a more developed stage in your sort of route to discovering what your special destiny is about. Okay, so we all have these dreams to become certain things. We all have these ideas about becoming and manifesting certain things, but we also have to recognize there's this kind of overlay of work that needs to be implemented in place in order for us to kind of achieve those goals in that way. It doesn't just like miraculously land in our laps. And it's that process of growing up through those cycles is what Uranus is really doing with that 6th house transit. Now, talking about work in that sense, Saturn's actually situated in a 2nd house of the astrological chart. And Mars has been, playing around over there, having communication with Saturn and then getting repulsed by him and moving all the way into the 1st house. So, we've got this interesting tango between Saturn in the 2nd house, really bringing in the depth and the heaviness around self-worth and what are your values and how do you develop your resources. And, you're really getting in check with looking at your sense of abundance and how do you value your time? How do you value your abundance? How do you value what is important to you and what's not important to you? And it can feel sometimes as if there's an emptiness that exists regarding things of the past. And really, Saturn is just about emotional integration. So you're learning how to let go of crystallized ideas about things that you held on to that no longer are resourceful to you anymore. And with Mars, skirting around in that area, he's initiating a new direction regarding these new values and perspectives. So when Mars goes direct, which will be on the 29th of June, there's going to be this interesting dynamic of new direction, new flow, and a new establishment of resources and structure. So just go with the flow, trust it. I know it might not seem the best at this point in time, but there is a sense of purpose. And when we look at the new and full moons that are taking place, you've got the July the 4th. This is in Cancer. This is the new moon, and that's lives up and situates there in the 9th house. And so that's going to be kicking off the whole entire solar cycle. As you can see, 9th house, self-exploration, new philosophical structure and overlay coming out into the play. And on the 19th of July, we've got the full moon in Capricorn, which is in that 3rd house. So this is going to be an interesting dynamic of communication, belief systems, philosophies, and getting in touch with what is that new language. So this is a good time to open up your mind and get in touch with expansion. Okay. Fantastic. Now, before I go, I just want to draw everybody's attention to learn your chart. And this is an exciting new way of being able to actually understand astrology. Basically, this is a reading that you get from me where you send me your birth details. And of course, I send you a playlist with all of the different types of configurations that you've got in your birth charts, and you learn about your chart through those videos, and then you have a 90-minute reading with me as well. So in the description below is the details of how you go about booking that and setting it up. And it's really, really exciting, to be honest. It's a new way of actually understanding astrology and in terms of how we learn it. And if you're new to this channel, please hit the like and subscribe button. And thanks very much, guys. Have a fantastic week, and I'll speak to you again.